Hi Scribes! Welcome to the second video in our course, Character Turnaround and Expression Guides. First of all, I want to start by congratulating you by getting through the last exercise. That was a lot of work. I hope you're finding a character that you really enjoy drawing, and perhaps you're starting to build a story around this character and understand who he or she is. By now, you should have a really good idea of what your character looks like from the front view and a sense of their outline. In today's video, we're going to explore our characters from the other sides. We're going to explore them from the front, the back, the left, the right, and then we're going to practice drawing expressions for them. Professional artists in comics, animation, and the gaming industries all have exercises that they go through when they're creating their characters. These exercises provide practice in drawing the character, and they also guide other artists that are working on the project, such as animators or character artists who will translate them into 3D characters. And they act as guides for all artists working on comic books. For big name and established characters such as Batman, you may have an artist who does, say, a year's worth of comics. That's a lot of work. And then they'll move on to the next project, and the next artist will come in and work on Batman. Well, they need to have rules and guidelines for how you draw him. And one of the ways that they do this is by having a character turnaround and expression guides. Learning to draw your character as though they live in a three-dimensional space, even a stick figure like Greg, will not only add to your skills as an artist, but it's going to give your character life. So let's get started. So in your comics, you could choose to just draw your character from the front view, but that's going to severely limit what your character can do. Even the simplest characters, like Garfield, show their character drawn from different angles and views. Let's take a quick moment to cover the different views. Front-facing view is going to be straight ahead. Of all the ways to set up your character in this comic frame, it's actually the view that you're going to use the least. It's very stiff and can make characters seem like statues, like they can't move. At this angle, they aren't really interacting with other characters or their environment. This only works if they're talking directly to the reader, and that doesn't usually happen very often. Three-quarters view is helpful, and it allows you to turn your character's head a little bit so it looks like I'm talking to somebody over here in the frame. You'll see it in frames where characters are talking to each other, or action poses, like, that's right. Again, if your character is posed facing straight out at the reader, it doesn't feel like they're talking to the other person. You can also have three-quarters from the back. This is important for moments when a character needs to look over their shoulder or gets bad slapped. So the side view is also another popular view for action, whether it's the characters talking or doing something in their environment. Even characters who are blobs have a left and a right side. So you want to explore drawing both. This is very important for characters who are not symmetrical. That means they're not the same on both sides. Maybe your character has a robot arm. You need to figure out what it looks like from the side and practice drawing both. The back view might be second to last in how often it's used. However, it's no less important. Don't skip drawing it. You might need to draw your character walking off in the sunset or giving little owl hugs. For this exercise, I have provided guides and a template you can print off to use as your practice or for your final turnaround. I suggest starting with rough drafts of each view on plain white paper, then move to the template for more final rounds of practice. The guides on the paper will help you practice drawing your character the same size no matter what your view is, which is also another very important part of learning how to draw comics. If you use the shape method to create your character, think about the shapes you use to create your character and how they might translate to building your character from each angle. As you move your character around, these shapes might change. They might become thinner, wider, or change shape altogether. If you used the reference method in the previous exercise, you should have photos of the character from different angles. Print them out if you need to, and arrange them on your workspace so that you can see them all at one time. This might mean that you need a little more space for this exercise. Work that out with your parents, please. And you might tape them together on a separate sheet of paper. So for the final exercise, I want you to draw your character from the front, from the back, and from the left and right side views. You might be able to fit your character on one sheet of paper. However, I'm going to suggest that you give yourself plenty of white space and space to draw the character and stick to 2 at the most views on each piece of paper. And then when you're done, save your work digitally using our guide and upload it to the Google Classroom. Does your character have an affect problem? What does that even mean? What I mean by an affect problem is, does your character stuck with the same expression on his face no matter which way you draw him or her? In the second part of our video, I'm going to help you get your character unstuck. Communication in comics uses both words and pictures. It's important that the words and the expressions your character uses work together. Otherwise, no one's going to get it. Expressionless blobs have their place, but not in every frame of your comic. Professional character artists practice drawing their characters with different expressions and from different views, like we did in the last exercise. And they do so to inform others involved in the creation process how the character is supposed to look. Some characters may have more limited range of emotions. For example, Batman is very serious. And his emotions will range from very serious to angry justice. Teen Titans, on the other hand, will have characters that laugh or cry or yell. So just like we experimented with what our character might look like from different angles in the last exercise, we're going to work on what they might look like when they express different emotions. This exercise includes 5 common emotions, but I'm going to encourage you to experiment with other emotions you can think of once you get the hang of these. This also gives you the chance to explore the personality of your character as you get to know him or her. Are their emotions extreme? Or are they subtle? What happens not just to their mouth or their eyes, but to their nose or hair? Like when you get mad, do your nostrils flare? Oh, look at that. My chin does this weird thing. For this exercise, you'll need a pencil, more plain white paper, and a mirror that can show your whole face. You also can have your parent take pictures of you with the different expressions and use these as reference as well, whichever is most helpful to you. Now apply these expressions to your character's face. Practice these as many times as you need to feel comfortable drawing them. And then on one last sheet of ink-safe paper, draw and label your character expressions with the following emotions: happy, sad, angry, confused, and scared. I've included examples and a guide to this exercise for you to follow along. Don't forget to take a digital copy of your work and upload it to the Google Classroom. Great job on all your hard work. We'll see you in the next video.